Good morning, and we are in the thoughts to keep in mind section. It comes right after the Come Follow Me that we just had, Genesis 23 through 18, and just before the 24 to 33, which we'll talk about tomorrow. But this is going to set up what we're going to discuss this next week. Somewhere in the wilderness, east of Canaan, Jacob nervously waited an encounter with his twin brother Esau. So now we've gone from Abraham. We've talked a little bit about Isaac. Now we're going to be all the way to Jacob, the grandson of Abraham. Now remember what I said a few weeks ago. The Genesis story is not about the creation, not even about Adam and Eve, and it's not about Moses. It's more about Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and Joseph, but especially about Abraham and Jacob. And that's why it's so important to understand the house of Israel, because this is the Genesis story for the rest of the Old Testament and the New Testament and the Book of Mormon, and actually the Doctrine and Covenants. So this, I think, is one of the most important things we learn. We'll learn this in here a little bit. Somewhere in the wilderness of east of Canaan, Jacob nervously awaited an encounter with his twin brother Esau. The last time Jacob had seen Esau was about 20 years earlier. Esau wanted to kill him. Jacob spent all night in a wrestle, seeking a blessing from God. As a result, Jacob's faith, persistence, and determination, God answered his prayers. That night, Jacob's name was changed to Isreal, a name that means, among other things, he perseveres with God. And of course, we'll read in a second the other meaning, and one that almost every member of the church now knows and thinks of when they think of Israel. Here again is a river by where Jacob received the name Israel. Just kind of give you that visual of what it must have been like. This is the first time the name of Israel appears in the Bible, and it's a name that perseveres throughout the book and throughout history. The name soon came to refer to more than just one man. Israel had 12 sons, and their descendants were collectively known as the house of Israel, or the tribes of Israel, the children of Israel, or the Israelites. Throughout history, the children of Israel attached great significance to their descent from one of the 12 tribes of Israel. Their lineage was an important part of their covenant identity. The Apostle Paul proclaimed that he was of the tribe of Benjamin. One reason Lehi sent his sons to Jerusalem was to retrieve the plates of brass. Was that the plates contained a genealogy of his fathers. Lehi discovered that he was a descendant of Joseph, and his posterity's understanding of their connection to the house of Israel proved important to them in the years that followed. In the church today, you may hear about Israel in expressions like the gathering of Israel. We sing Redeemer of Israel, the hope of Israel, ye elders of Israel. Just a side note, hope of Israel is something that I very much have an affinity to, since my great-great-grandfather wrote the music for that song. And so I grew up singing that with that in mind, and also just the idea, hope of Israel, Zion's army, children of the latter days, and having that hope in us and knowing that we were part of that Israel, one who perseveres with God, or as we'll find in a second, the other definition. In these cases, we weren't talking or singing about ancient kingdom of Israel or the modern nation called Israel. Rather, we were referring to people who had been gathered from the nations of the world into the Church of Jesus Christ. We are referring to people who persevere with God, who earnestly seek His blessings, and who, through baptism, have become His covenant people. In the words of President Russell M. Nelson, to be of Israel means to let God prevail in our lives, to let God be the most powerful influence in our lives. Again, like I said, this is what we have come to recognize Israel being, is let God prevail. Our patriarchal blessing declares your connection. Your patriarchal blessing declares your connection to one of the tribes of the house of Israel. That's more than an interesting piece of family history. It also has to do with your present and future. Being a part of the house of Israel means you have a covenant relationship with Heavenly Father and Jesus Christ. It means that you, like Abraham, are meant to be a blessing to God's children. It means, in the words of Peter, that ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye should show forth the praises of Him who hath called you out of the wilderness into His marvelous light. It means that you let God prevail, that you are one who perseveres with God as you honor your covenants with Him. I think it is significant that we know this, and that this is the Genesis story. It is more important to know this than to know about Adam or Noah. Those were only there to get to us to this point where we could learn about Israel. I hope you could feel that connection in your life, and that you know that you're part of the house of Israel if you let God prevail in your life. I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you tomorrow.